How is COVID life in Sweden? What's it like there?
Well, it's a little bit different than perhaps many other places in and around the world in that the Swedish government choose a very different way of doing it, in that it's really not mandated social distancing. It's more a recommendation of a social distancing. So all the stores are still open, all the restaurants are still open,
And
but
that's
you're
been kind of
encouraged.
controversial. That's been kind of controversial, right?
It's been very controversial, and it's been widely reported by everyone from President Trump to world leaders around the world of what are these crazy Swedes doing. And yeah, I mean, it's been widely debated in Sweden too, but so far at least, we're clearly impacted, but and it's a sensitive time, but I feel pretty good about where we are right now.
We've been listening to a lot of Spotify Kids stuck inside. What's on your
Fantastic.
pandemic playlist? I know you got kids too.
Yeah. So on our playlist right now, it's obviously a lot of Frozen and the Trolls soundtrack.
Okay, you
So
too. Okay.
yes, yes, definitely going on at our house. And so I'm actually very happy that Trolls managed to get their movie up on Apple TV so that we could rent it and get it out there. Because otherwise, it was something our kids were looking forward to for a long, long time.
So, what is it like running a $26 billion company in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, the crazy thing I think for us is just how global the business is. So, we're in close to 80 countries around the world. So we're dealing with all these various stages of the pandemic. You have Asia, which is making a near recovery. You had Europe, that's right in the epicenter and was in the epicenter since early March. You have the US, which is kind of right now in the middle of the epicenter, and you have LATAM that will probably enter the epicenter shortly. So we're all in different stages of this epidemic. And what's just fascinating for me has been just seeing how the consumption habits have just shifted overnight. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this since the inception of the company, of just how people changed habits, changed what they're listening to, how they're engaging with that content. So it's just been really been responding to this new reality that we're living in, while at the same time making it culturally appropriate.
You now have 286 million users, 130 million paying subscribers in 79 markets. How do you expect listening to shift over the next few months?
We've actually been seeing an influx of new users coming to the service, including, which we're very happy about, old users returning to the platform. But I think it's hard to say. I mean, obviously, my guess will be as good as anyone's about when this will change and how quickly things can turn back into normal. For us specifically, the big thing is really around the commute. So to the point when people are starting to return back to their offices, their place of work, I suspect we're going to see something that looks a lot more like normalcy for us. Also, second big thing for us is just the gym. People are listening a lot to music while working out. Again, people are working out but not going to the gym so much, so that's impacting the type of music that people are listening to as well. So I suspect as we're seeing places of work opening up and gyms opening up, I think we as a company will be a lot more like normal again.
Now, this has really been hard on the music industry. I know, there haven't been any live concerts. You've got John Legend doing home concerts, Selena Gomez Instagramming her home studio. But just how hard do you think the music industry itself will be hit by this?
Oh, it's absolutely going to be massive, specifically for artists themselves. So if you look at an average artist today, about 80% of their income comes from touring. So the fact that they can't tour and likely won't be able to tour for much of the summer, which is one of the greatest points for concerts as well, will impact many, many musicians a lot. And not just that, but we're talking about all the roadies and everyone else that makes these concerts happen. So it's a big, big thing, and it's something that we as a company are very focused on, and why we also created the COVID-19 relief fund, where we want to match donations towards the music industry.
Even in the midst of this, you're still running a business and you have to, map out various scenarios and look ahead. So every quarter, I know you create internally what's called a bets board, where you list your priorities for the quarter, and these are selected from proposals from your team. So, what's on your bets board right now?
Well, the number one thing on our bets board is actually something that's stayed the same for a very long time, and that's just our bet from going from a music company to an audio company. We went about a year ago, just to put it in perspective, we were at about a quarter a million podcasts, and we just passed over a million. Of that, about 60% of all podcasts are now being produced and distributed via Anchor, which is one of our acquisitions last year. So we're really just making progress on making it easier for people to create podcasts, distribute their podcasts, but also improving the consumption experience across the board. That's kind of our main focus and has been for quite some time.